Estaba trabajando versus estuve trabajando. In one, we're going to use the pretérito imperfecto continuo, the continuous imperfect past, estaba trabajando. And in the other one, we're going to use the pretérito perfecto simple continuo, the continuous simple perfect past, estuve trabajando. It really depends whether you want to say that the action is completely finished in a specific time frame or that it was more of a constant action in the past or something else was happening at the same time. I'm going to give you similar examples comparing the imperfect with the perfect. So hopefully this will help you out. Let's begin with the imperfect. Yo estaba trabajando cuando me llamaste. I was working when you called me. In this case, we use estaba trabajando, we use the estaba, the imperfecto, because it's an action that was happening when something else happened. So like when you called me, I was working. So that was the action that was happening. And that's why it's estaba. Using the perfecto, I can say something like estuve trabajando todo el día y no vi mi móvil. I was working all day and I didn't see my phone. In this case, both verbs are in the pretérito perfecto simple because those actions have finished. They are done. It's in a specific time frame. I'm giving you the specific time frame. Todo el día, all day. I was working all day and I didn't see my phone. Both things happen. Both things are finished. So that's why I'm using the perfecto. And one doesn't cut the other. Like, it's not that I was doing something and something else happened. No, I was just working all day. That was what's happening. And I did not see my phone. That also happened. That's why pretérito perfecto. Back to the imperfect, I can say something like ¿Estabas trabajando mientras yo dormía? Were you working while I was asleep or while I was sleeping? In this case, we are referring to two simultaneous actions happening at the same time. I was sleeping, you were working, so they are simultaneous, happening at the same time. Because that's the case, we use the pretérito imperfecto, the imperfect past, because there were two ongoing actions at the same time. Compared to now using the perfecto, if I say something like ¿Estuviste trabajando toda la noche? Were you working all night? In this case, I'm giving you the specific time frame, all night, toda la noche. That's finished, that time frame is finished. That's why I have to use the perfecto, estuviste trabajando. And the last case, I would say a little bit tricky. Let's see if you understand it as well. If I say something like, él estaba trabajando demasiadas horas sin descansar. He was working too many hours without a rest or without resting. This implies that something happened to this person while he was working and the action of working or was working hasn't finished. So that's why we use the imperfecto. Él estaba trabajando demasiadas horas. He was working too many hours. And maybe, he fainted or something happened to him that like he stopped working for whatever reason it is. And the action of working is not finished. That's why we use imperfecto. In comparison to if I use the perfecto, la semana pasada él estuvo trabajando demasiadas horas sin descansar. Last week he was working too many hours without a rest, without resting. I'm specifying the time frame by saying la semana pasada, last week. So that time frame is finished, is done. That's why I have to use the pretérito perfecto simple, the simple perfect past, because last week is finished. And in this case, I'm not implying that something happened to him while he was working. Like maybe something has happened to him now because of having worked too many hours without a rest, but it didn't stop the action of working. So like he actually finished his work and maybe he's now ill or something happened to him because of those extra hours working, but it didn't happen while he was at work, like in the first case might imply. I hope this makes sense. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments. So like I will make more videos giving you more sentences with these kind of examples, like hopefully will help you guys to understand more the differences.